In Palestine held hostage news, Gaza's famine is poised to be relieved by a nothing burger promising withdrawal of Israeli troops, exchange of captives, and renewed attacks from Isramerica as soon as people look away. The main goal of the pretend ceasefire is, of course, a Nobel Prize for President King Emperor I ended 7 wars. As for the small matter of family homes gone missing, only Jared Kushner can fix it. Clean it up. Ethnically. With the U.S. invasion of the U.S. hung up in the courts, dumb dominator Don is threatening to invoke an 1807 law saying courts don't count during an insurrection. The Portland insurrection has featured at least 24 insurgents with threatening hairstyles. Prez says they are all over the place. All over the place. A technical term meaning all over that half of that block. When ICE zip-tied children and handcuffed a city councilor who asked to see a detainee's arrest warrant, a panel of scientists moved the fascism clock 2 minutes closer to midnight. President Destroy America has canceled funding for infrastructure projects in New York and Chicago. Is he destroying America? Of course. The question is it punishment for their failure to knuckle under to the dictator, or is it a way to make them look bad when their cities decay? Yes. Pursuing his commitment to shelter for all, the president is supporting the right to tax shelters for needy corporations. The IRS has been told to back the fuck off of these sacrosanct practices, which was not really necessary since the defunded agency lacks personnel with the expertise to audit corporatus giganticus. Still, the burdensome administrative state must be chopped up, or anyway down, to permit the American Hero Corps to earn the billions needed for jobs to trickle down to, well, AI. In Dissent from Big Brother news, you know what anti-genocide protesters in Italy shut down? Italy. So, it seems the U.S. is by comparison a primitive, backward place, but we have to do what we can because we're the only nation that can stop it. And we won't. Because we don't have self-government, and our consciousness has been stripped of its essential components: history, conscience, solidarity, etc. Example, the White Palace is urging universities to goose-step in line with the diktats of the Reich Chancellor for eliminating excess genders and races, and disciplining anyone who belittles conservatives. Conservative, a term meaning those who favor smaller government and bigger strongmen. A regime spokesbot was said to have said, "Nice campus you got here. Be a shame if something happened to your research funding." Fox News Secretary of Death Hegboy's condemnation of beardos appears to be directed at Sikh soldiers, as well as some Muslims and Jews. Additionally, the effort to turn back the clock to before woke and make sexual harassment great again is seen by some as the best way to make the military more lethal and disproportionately imperialist. However, that is only the opinion of whistleblowers, who, as of today, do not exist. The Treasury Department, now called the Department of Gold, is proposing a $1 coin for the nation's 250th anniversary, featuring the face the founding fathers must have prayed for, Mr. 45, 6, and 7. The coin would feature, under the president's perfect visage, the words "Fight, Fight, Fight," a reference to the January 6th Love Fest. While the minting of a living person's likeness was clearly proscribed in 1866 by an anti-monarchy law, the Treasury website regarding the law has apparently gone to a better place. Oil execs are surprisingly unnerved by President Oil and Coal's attacks on God's breath, DBA wind. Why? You might have just asked. Because the unprecedented presidential attacks will set a precedent for future attacks by more traditional presidents on more traditional energy sources, aka oil. Well, that's kind of the price you pay for destroying the earth instead of saving it, isn't it? In other precedent developments, the MAGA attack on not-yet-cowed media could also bounce back to bite the right if some radical left Democrat Party type hoaxes their way into power and indicts, sues, or deports Fox News. Then, how will MAGA know what to think? Or how to avoid thinking, for that matter? The one big beautiful con job has been renamed the Working Families Tax Cut, reflecting the benefits it extends to hard-working families of corporation chairs and other diligent billionaires. Trumpet Mouth calls it a massive tax cut for the middle class. Massive, an administrative term meaning a small but effective distraction. The cuts to Medicaid are also seen as a corrective for those claiming to be in need of health care, as they are freeloaders and probably illegals, who should not be healthy. Nicaraguan political prisoner Mauricio Alonso, detained by the regime of Daniel Ortega and Rosario Murillo, has died in custody. The kind, revolutionary, just democratic government demanded that he be buried immediately. Things that make you go, Several other prisoners have died in captivity, including Ortega's brother Humberto, formerly head of the Sandinista army. Meanwhile, in China, Xi Jinping is purging tens of thousands of loyalists, presumably to disrupt their personal networks that compete with those of the leader. This has been a moment of reflection for the left. Brought to you by one who likes to think he thinks.